intent of just forging this whole 5x2 and the 5x2 family was literally just giving everybody a place to play. It doesn't matter if you're 5, it doesn't matter if you're 50. If you want to play music, we got you.
Can you see us and hear us?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Gotcha.
What's going
Awesome.
on? How you guys doing?
This is the first time we've ever had a full band on this, so this is really cool.
This is a monumental occasion.
This is monumental for us.
I like that. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
Fantastic. How's the quarantine life treating everybody?
Oh, you know.
All right.
It's
okay.
Well, it's you guys are making the most of it.
Terrible.
I noticed you guys had that live stream on I think April 25th.
Yeah.
Where was that? You guys have like a mini studio in the house?
In our basement, we have our
Oh,
practice space, and we kind of just set everything up there.
Nice. That's a pretty sweet practice space. I watched a lot of them. You guys have a lot of good songs.
Thanks.
First off, I noticed that for equipment wise, I think what is it? Was that a lab? Oh, the guitar amp. What was it? Hold on. I wrote
Lab series.
Lab series. Yeah.
Lab
How do you like
series.
that in
Yeah.
terms of tone? It sounds like it's a
love it.
freaking beast.
Yeah, I love it. It's great.
You running that through two Marshall 4x10s?
A Marshall and a Sun, a 4x10, 4x10 and a 2x10,
Oh,
or
sweet.
12. Actually, 4x12, 2x12.
Ah,
There we go.
no.
All right, so I'm gonna make sure I get this right. Steve, I'm cutting you off. I'm gonna take this right now.
All right.
I want to make
I'm
sure I
leaving.
have all your names right, because this is important to me. So, Finola, am I saying that right?
Yes,
Okay.
that is me.
Guitar and vocals. Okay.
Mhm.
Juliana's on drums,
Correct.
and
Mhm.
I'm doing my best here. Please tell me.
Yeah.
I hope I get this right. Edme.
Edme.
I said Edme. I said
I had a
Edme. You said I was
chance.
wrong.
Oh,
I
God.
just won.
Even-
It's okay.
I was
Everyone
wondering
says
about this
that.
all day long. Oh God, I'm really angry right now.
Because he's like Ed May. I'm like, you just
It
added.
was
you're adding
Ed
letters.
me.
You just added. There's no why. There's no
We
why.
were
in
both
there.
wrong, G. I thought. Oh man, I stink. I stink at everything.
All right. I
Okay.
feel good now. I won that bet.
Yes.
Yeah, Steve won. He usually never wins anything. So
No, that's not true. That's not true.
if there was a win-loss thing, it would be me like 105, and then you'd have one. This.
Come on, give me 2, 3, 4, maybe something within 1 through 10. So yeah, so we talked about gear a little bit. Edme, what? So is there like, are you guys all kind of gearheads, or like do you just focus more on the music? Because I know like some people, I like to really dive deep in gear. Kind of like a geek when it comes to like pedals, what type of amp I play out of and stuff like that. And I know some musicians rather just focus on writing and that kind of just jamming and stuff like that. So do you guys kind of fall in the category of both, one or the other?
I
I think it's all individual for us,
Yeah,
to be
I don't know.
honest.
Okay.
probably a little more about the music and the writing. I know, like, with us and our brothers and stuff, we definitely all come together and we're like, I just tripped across this. This is really cool. Stuff like that. But we never
cool.
really, like, dive deep into that stuff that much. At least us three, probably.
I don't
How
know
many-
anything about anything.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm
much
just
about
a
That's
drummer, bro.
exactly how I am. I have an acoustic guitar and an amp, and that's all I know about it.
Yo,
They're like, Derek, what can your amp do? I'm like, I don't know. Why don't you check it out yourself?
I'm usually Derek's guitar tech on stage, and I have to tweak his levels and stuff like that.
It's a little embarrassing. It's like,
Steve,
I'm like,
can you-
Steve, I can't hear myself. He goes over to my amp and plays with it. I'm on stage.
I'm all
like,
set up.
I'm
I'm all comfortable in my
Yeah.
spot. I'm like, I'm ready for the show, and I got to put my bass down. I got to go over there. And I got to be the PA guy. Edme, what kind of bass do you play?
I play Mustang bass.
Oh,
Mustang.
sweet.
Squire, yeah.
Yeah.
That's the type of bass with the switches. It's got switches on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those a lot. Those. How do you like it? How does it play?
I like it a lot.
Nice.
I like it because it doesn't have like the long neck. I don't know what the technical
It's
word
3/4.
is. Yeah.
So short. It's
So-
a shorter neck.
Short, short scale.
Okay. Yeah, I think we all. I remember you guys. I'm sure you guys remember we played a show with you guys like maybe what was that 2 years ago?
Yeah.
something like that.
It was
Yeah.
in. I think it was in Framingham. I think it was.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
tavern or something like that. Yeah.
something like that. And I remember watching Edme, and the bass was like bigger than her at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We
Like,
chose
that's
to
like
size down.
yeah. But no, that's pretty sweet. And so, Juliana, you don't care about
I'm just, here.
no with the drums, no, not like a tech tech person. You just more like a player.
I mean, like when it comes to cymbals, I definitely am. I'm always looking for the best of the best, even though they're like
Peisty.
real expensive. But I mean, as far as like shells and stuff,
You're like, dude, I played whatever. I don't know drum terms to even impersonate a drummer. I don't know. But yeah. So yeah, like me, I like I said, I like to deep dive on like pedals. I'm like a freak when it comes to digital versus analog. I usually do mostly analog for my rig.
Yeah.
But digital's cool too. I like digital.
I'm glad you girls are not too much into it, because I feel like everybody we talk to is like super technical, and I'm just not at all. So it's comforting to know that some other musicians are like, whatever, just give me an instrument and I'll play
Yeah.
it.
That's what you should be. I mean, that's what you should be like anyway. Just
Yeah.
jam. Just
I focus on writing. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give me a guitar, I'll figure it out, I guess. Maybe. But so I listened to Floating Still like 14 times today. And so the first thing I had to say about Floating Still is that, number one, it's tremendous. I couldn't get enough of it. I also loved the fact that it was like 8 minutes, and I was like, this is really gutsy, because like nobody will release a single that's that long, but Circus Trees does. But I just thought it was so, and forgive me, you guys will probably agree with me, but it's so moody, but in a really good way. I love music that puts you in that like just strange state of mind. I love the title of it too, because I was literally sitting still on my couch and I was listening to the song, and I felt like I was floating, but I was still. But it's such a deep, moving. What were you gonna say, Steve?
I was gonna just interrupt you very abruptly there. I was listening to Impermanence a lot lately. And that song, every time I listen to that song, even right now, I listened to it earlier and just a few times this week, it always gets stuck in my head. It's in my head right now. Like right before this podcast, I was like singing like the verse and stuff like that. And that was a single. Was that on? I can't remember if that was like on an album or if that's just a standalone single.
Single.
Oh,
It
sweet.
was our first single.
yeah.
Nice. That's a sweet song. Like Derek was saying,
Throwback.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
puts you in it's just like this cool, like very vibey. It's like I could just put it on and just forget about it and just zone out for a while. It's like really cool.
Yeah.
I like you guys' style a lot.
Thanks.
Yeah, the style is definitely, and I read some of the notes like on Spotify, but shoegaze comes to mind immediately for me for the genre and stuff like that.
Mhm.
But I'm really interested to know individually what each of your influences are, because I can hear influences in your music, but I'm probably dead wrong about it. So I want to hear what influences you guys.
I mean, honestly, we all listen to a lot of the same music together. I mean, we obviously go off a little bit, but our main influences are like the same music that we listen to together. We listen to a lot of post-rock. I probably started off on a lot of post-rock like a few years ago. Stuff like Caspian, Oh Brother. Those were two super big bands for me while I was writing music.
Cool.
And we also like, I don't know, like solo artists like Julian Baker. She's super big to us. We really love her music and the feel that she gives off.
Nice. You guys, I kind of got, maybe not directly, but I kind of got a somewhat of a Deftones vibe. You guys into the Deftones at all? A little
I like
bit.
the Deftones. I like them.
They're
It's
like,
funny. I didn't get a Deftones vibe at all. I actually got more like, I don't know. This is gonna sound maybe strange, but like I got like a My Bloody Valentine, like Smashing Pumpkins taste. Some of it. I'm like a hardcore Smashing Pumpkins fan. Like Billy Corgan to me is like, he's like my favorite. But I got that, like, I love how, like, especially in Floating Still, it gets like, it's soft for a while and then it picks up and it's like, it's rocking, it's like in your face and then it gets soft again. I think it's so important to have a song that like flows so well. So I definitely got that out of it. But I guess, actually, you know what? Wait a minute. So in Framingham, I think you covered a song by the Cranberries.
Yeah, that was as soon as I know that was like you guys open with that, and I knew right away. I'm like, okay, this is
Yeah. And
Yeah.
yeah, oh my God, that was like honestly one of the best covers
right.
ever.
It was like
No, I'm not even just like, yeah,
it was like
powerful, so powerful.
Thank you.
yeah, it was like immediately I'm like, okay, there's something to this band, and like and the more you guys played, it just kind of reinforced that. I'm like, this is definitely I haven't heard a band like this in a while, especially like locally or whatever.
Yeah,
It's just
I find myself sitting down and looking at the chords, and I'll start playing it myself, and then I'll start singing it, and I'm like, should I sing it like her? I can't do the cool vocal thing she does. So I'm sitting there, and I'm like, zombie. I'm like, wow, I could never cover the song live.
That's funny. When Derek was doing that horrible impersonation of the song, it's funny. You do that kind of Cranberries. It's kind of like a staccato thing with the voice. It kind of like I'm so bad at explaining it, but
Yeah.
it's one of the songs you do that. Oh man, I'll find it. I'll come back to it. I think it might be Impermanence. The way you kind of phrase the vocals, it's very it's like a percussive way of doing it, and it's very short and punchy. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I think it was on
absolutely, yeah.
Impermanence. I'll find out. Though.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Yep.
Nice. Thank God. Thank God. I was
so-
like hanging out to dry air.
So the music on the EP, I listen to a lot of I'm a big album person, an EP person. I have to listen to every song on the album front to back. I don't skip around. I have to listen to it as it was intended. And I thought your EP, Sakura, am I saying that correctly?
Sakura. Yeah.
Sakura.
She's like,
I thought
it
Louder,
was-
yes.
80%.
I thought it was incredibly cohesive. I thought everything flowed really well together. It sounds like just listening to music, I always wonder if the artist intended for this, for that, but it sounded like throughout the whole EP, you just knew what you were doing and knew what the direction you were going in, and it just sounded like that, which is really cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I am honestly just blown away by the music. I think especially nowadays, some songs I just listen to in bands are just kind of one note. It's just whatever. It didn't mean anything. But your music, it means something. It puts you in a place, and that's what I think it's just very moving music. So I'm excited to hear if you guys do an album soon. I'm totally excited.
Yeah.
And before you interrupt me, Steve, let me finish. If you still have any copies on vinyl of Sakura, I will purchase one.
Yes.
And if you all sign it, I will give you more money.
That's true. Same here. I will also do the same.
Thank you.
I want signed copies. And just so you know, in the future, if you ever released vinyl, just let me know and I'll buy it because I'm a freak with vinyl. And
We're big into vinyl. I actually, before each guest comes on, I have a record of the day that I do, and I just show them the record I have here, which is Abbey Road by the Beatles. But me and Steve are big vinyl people, big record people. So yes, if you have vinyl, we want it. We will spend money for vinyl.
Yeah.
take my money.
Take my money, please. But so I have a question for you. When I was thinking about you earlier, I was wondering if this comes up a lot because it kind of aggravates me, and I'm wondering if it aggravates you. Do people, when they mention your music and talk to you, do they bring up the fact that you're young? Does that happen a lot?
Yeah. I think before people hear our music, and they hear that we're young, they're like, oh, it's probably not actually good. I feel like that's just an expectation. So I definitely think after people listen to it, they're like, oh wait, being young isn't a factor in our music. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. That's 100% accurate.
And we've always felt that I know, Derek, I'm sure too, we ever since we saw you guys live and listened to your record and stuff, that we've always kind of viewed you guys as equals in terms of music because the music is so good. There's no even need to bring up age because it's the music speaks for itself. It's whatever. If it's some pop star, maybe age could be a factor. It's maybe that's part of the marketing of it. But with you guys, it's irrelevant because the music just speaks for itself. It's just that good.
Thank you.
Yeah, and even there's some bands that it's the other way around. I remember the band Fountains of Wayne. Stacy's mom has got I remember when they came on the scene and they were popular, everybody was like, look at these old guys trying to play rock, because they were all like in their mid-30s, and I'm like, that stinks. Like if you get, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
age, I feel like age, you know, age and talent does not matter. Like talent is talent,
Mhm.
Yep.
no matter what age. If you have it, you have it, and you guys obviously have it.
You guys definitely have it. Yeah, it's yeah,
Thanks.
you guys rock for sure. Have you guys ever
My
tried to?
My hair is wild today. I just can't get my hair right today.
Yeah,
I'm
neither.
embarrassed.
Me
I'm
neither.
embarrassed. I'm like, this is not,
Keep
wow, I just
scratching
made it worse.
It
Okay.
gets worse the more you scratch it.
I'm gonna keep making it worse as it goes on.
I was gonna say, do you guys ever try to get on any of the local radio stations like 90.3? I know I forget what radio station that is. I think it's I forget, but they play a lot of your style of music. Some days they don't, like it's like scattered, but 90.3, if you never heard of it, check it out. I think it's
Cool.
I totally forget the I know it's not WERS, that's 88.9. But if 90.3 FM in Boston, check it out. You I'm sure they would love your style of music. They would probably it would fit in really well.
Yeah, I think we played on that before.
Oh, get out.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I probably
Right?
heard you guys. I'm like, oh, that sounds familiar.
I think we did. I'm pretty sure.
Not 100%.
We played on a couple radio stations, and I think that was one of them.
Oh, sweet. What
No,
else?
I know. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
No, you go ahead.
No, go ahead, Steve. No problem. No problem at all.
No.
Steve.
You know what?
Just go.
I will just shut my video. Oh, no, just kidding. I'll just go. I'll go eat some pizza. I got leftover pizza over there, and I'll just eat the rest of my pizza.
Let me guess.
Oh.
Pineapple, right?
No, it's
Disgusting.
salami,
You're disgusting.
salami,
You're a disgusting person.
pepperoni, and pineapple.
Ugh.
Domino's. Juliana, don't make that face.
Okay, number one. Okay, Domino's is not pizza. It's not pizza, Steve.
It is pizza. They use
No, it's
real
not. It's not.
mozzarella.
That means nothing.
Get into this conversation.
Listen,
It's mozzarella, Steve.
mozzarella. Yeah, if you watch.
Listen,
The
I come from an Italian background, so it's mozzarella.
No, you come from a Sicilian background. I come from an Italian background.
Okay,
There's
I
a
have
difference.
Italian blood too.
We have guests, okay? We have guests here.
All right.
Gotta
All
behave.
right.
Oh, we'll wait, guys.
I had a point, Steve. What was
I
my
don't know.
point? Oh no, I was gonna say, as far as the radio goes, did they ever have an issue with the fact that Floating Still was so long? Did you guys do an edited version for the radio, or did they say anything about that?
Definitely. I remember. I don't know if it was for radio or something, but I remember like giving Floating Still, and like some lady was like, "No, that's too long. We can't play that."
We're not going to
And
play
we
an
were
8-minute
like,
song.
What?
Yep.
Like, we're not going to shorten the song just because people can't listen long enough to hear it.
Yep.
That's so cool. I know.
Like-
Yeah. In your profile,
Yeah.
it even says like in one of your Bandcamp, and one of the things it says like, we make music for us, and if you happen to come for the ride, great. If not, we don't care.
Yeah.
And I like that
that's
kind
it.
of.
That is
that's
the
such
most
a
important
rock star
thing
attitude.
ever. Absolutely. Well, no, not even rock star attitude. It's the opposite of a rock star attitude, because making music for yourself is what it's about. You know,
Yeah.
everybody else who wants to just climb the ladder and make it, whatever that even means anymore, that's not what it's about. So, I mean, if you make music that you like, then there's nothing better than that, especially when people like it. I mean, that's also a big thing too.
Right.
But to
If people
transition your
listen.
music over to other people.
Yeah.
I mean, it stinks to write music and then no one listens to it. You're like, am I doing a good job? Like, you need recognition. Sometimes you just
that
need
would
it.
suck.
But for sure. So I would say that Floating Still is probably my favorite, just because that was the first thing that I heard. Love the EP, Atlanta, and like I said, but Floating Still was tremendous. Are you working on a full length or anything like that right now?
Yes, we are.
Oh.
Quarantine has been
secrets?
doing us good.
Yeah. Yes, we were supposed to record, but we won't get into that. Hopefully, we're gonna be releasing it sometime in like late summer.
Okay.
It's
Sweet.
6 songs,
Mhm.
an album, EP-ish. Who knows? But yeah, it's gonna be sick.
Yeah, this album's going to
Nice.
hit different. Let's hope.
It's definitely a little different from
Yes.
before.
Different how?
Um,
In terms of sound or
I don't know. I feel like we're just like growing as a band, and
nice.
we're kind of the sound is a little less post-rocky, but
Okay.
I don't know. It's just what we wanted to write. That's just
Whoa.
what came out.
Yeah.
Can you give us a sample? No, I'm just kidding. No. Can you give us some bootleg phone recordings in the next couple months? So we can just,
Acapella.
Yeah, let's do it now.
just to
See,
prove
we have to make sure our album isn't coinciding with their release.
Right.
But so how is the writing process done with you guys? Do you do it all together at the same time, or is it like more an individual thing and then you bring it to the others?
It's pretty broken down into like sections. I think every song slash album slash EP or whatever you want to call it is a little bit different as far as writing, but I think there's a pretty standard, like Finn writes the lyrics, like I'll have my own drum part that I'll write, and I'll have some part in orchestration, and then, you know, Egg will have a bass part. She'll start learning that. Finn might lay down some scratch tracks of her just singing and playing guitar, you know, depending on kind of where we're at with whatever school and work. But I mean, that's the base for how it's kind of written.
I've like the songs I write in my room, but they're songs then, and then they're completely different songs when I bring them to them, because we kind of like change it all up, put different stuff in, you know, whatever we're feeling.
That's what happens.
That's exactly what happens with us. Yeah, I'll bring in like, I write on acoustic guitar, so right off the bat, it's melodic and it's soft. I don't know what it is, but I can't write funky music on an acoustic guitar. I don't know why. But I'll bring a song in and I'll be like, guys, this is like a ballad. It's soft, and then all of a sudden it just changes into something else completely, and I'm like, wow, I can't believe where it started and now what it's doing. But because I was thinking, like, if you're writing with vocals and just chords, and then you bring it and it changes, you have to also start to rely on the bass line too, to make sure that it brings like a little bit of the melody. So that always just I always was wondering about that, because it just always made sense to me that somebody was playing chords in the guitar, or even a keyboard player would like give the chords in the background while everything's going on. But with you guys, it works. Like, a 3-piece band is perfect. All the sounds you want to hear is there. And I get nervous sometimes of like the background of a song not filling up space, so it sounds empty. But you guys do not sound empty, and it's amazing, because it's like each one of you brings the power necessary for, you know, the whole thing to just sound good together as a whole. And that's amazing.
Thanks.
And that's not flattery either. I'm just serious, because because Steve knows I'm a jerk. I'm such a music snob. But seriously, and I'm so excited to see like where you guys are in like 2 years. Like 2 years from now, can you imagine like what kind of music you're going to be making and where you're going to be at? Because I personally, like, I see you guys going like I see you guys touring at some point, like around the country. Like, I just envision that.
So.
Yeah. And the one thing to think about, and I'm sure your dad is like the coolest guy on the planet. And I respect the heck out of your dad. He's got so much patience with everything, with which being a promoter, like, it takes a lot. So I give him so much credit. He's one of the nicest guys, one of the sweetest guys I've ever met. But I would say that, you know, as far as touring goes, I get nervous because, you know, I see these bands going on tours and I'm like, could I do that? Could I not get burnt out? Because after one show, I'm like, wow, I got to sleep for like 4 days. So I'm like, some of these bands, they go every night. And I'm like, I don't even think I could do that. So have you guys thought of that? Like, how to, if that comes up, how you'd manage it? Because that's a question that I think every band should ask themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely go. We've gone to Vermont a couple times. We've gone up and played a show, stayed, and then come back. And then
Indianapolis.
And then we went to Indianapolis to play Post Fest.
Yes, that was on my list of questions to ask.
Yeah,
okay.
We drove there and
cool.
back. We bought a big van, put all of our gear in it, bunch of seats, and we just kind of drove. It's really helpful that we're all family. It's like we're all family. We bring our other siblings to help roadie for us. Like they're super helpful. And we all just kind of work together, and we live with each other anyway.
And we can fight and recover.
Yeah.
So if we get worn out, you know, we're fine.
Fight the entire night and then wake up and be fine.
Yeah, but we never really like played multiple shows when we grew up. I don't believe so. But our friend Aaron, our brother, he lives with us. He just went on tour with this band, Young Culture.
Yes.
It was his first tour in the family. And he came back, and I definitely think that's super helpful, especially because Young Culture is pretty big now. So
Just getting to hear about the experience
Yeah.
and sort of if we were to, do a tour or something like that, getting to know what he experienced each day, like each area, how they sort of survived on tour. I think that's a very helpful thing.
You can also prepare yourself too. Like the more, the more you hear from people who have done it, you can kind of mentally like prepare for this. Like you can kind of like slowly get ready, for that one day you guys go on tour. It's like
definitely.
it doesn't hit you over the head. It's like, oh, what is this? Like you can kind of prepare the next year or two or whatever, how long it takes. Kind of just get it in mind, like this is what it takes, and start. I would suggest starting slow. Maybe just do a mini tour, like just a couple, just tour Massachusetts, just book a bunch of venues, take like a week or two, just do a couple mini tours first, and then you can do that East Coast tour, then you can go on the West Coast. So my advice would just to do it, start gradually, mentally prepare, get to keep discussing with people who've done it, know the ins and outs, know what to expect. And I think if you do that, you'll just be that much more prepared, and you'll just kill it when you actually are ready to go on tour.
Yeah, I think just thinking about like you said, like you guys are a band and your family and you live together and you're with each other every single day. Like you guys are probably all so like emotionally checked in. Because if I lived with Steve, I'm pretty sure I would never talk to him ever again. But that's insane. Like sometimes I have to remind the band, I'm like, for the most part, the band's been together since like 2016, and I'm like, that's a crazy feat. We've been together for 4 years. Some bands don't even last a couple months because they can't deal with each other. And then egos get big, and it's just like sometimes I wonder how we finish a song. I'm like, I can't believe, because I don't think we've ever not like had a fight during a song. Like, no, that bass part, no, you can't do that because I'm playing this part and you're playing over my vocals, and what are you doing on drums over there? It doesn't even make sense. Like, and then how do you bring it all together and say, you know what, we did it, we got it, and now we all still love each other somehow, and we don't know how it happened. That's tremendous. Yeah, I'm super excited when this is all over. I can't wait to see you guys live again.
Do you guys have I mean, it's hard to really plan a gig now, like so whenever the world is done being apocalypse thing,
apocalyptic,
I don't whatever. Apocalyptic.
Nailed it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you guys have tentative plans to book any shows in the next 3 months or anything like that?
We're not really booking any shows. I know we've had shows, but they've been canceled, sadly. We were supposed to play with Caspian at the Sinclair, but
that close.
Oh my God! Please tell me that got rescheduled at least.
It got postponed. We don't know what the deal is, so we're not gonna say anything. The only show we have still up is Post New England in, when is it? September. Post New England. It's run by our dad and a couple others. It's super cool. We played it last year. It was such a cool experience. They literally, like, my dad like got an ice cream truck, and it was just like us and a bunch of like post rock dudes like eating ice cream and like watching post rock, and it was just like so fun.
That's cool. That's awesome.
It's crazy because like it was so homey. Like you mentioned the whole like homesick and tour stuff. Obviously that does happen, but I feel like when you're surrounded by those people, obviously not everybody tours with other people, but like when you're just surrounded by that community and that sense of like family, it makes you feel at home. Just
that's such a good point. It's really good point.
I never thought of that, because I think what I was thinking in my brain was like being homesick for where I live, not about the people. So I never thought about it like that. If you have those people with you, it's like your home no matter where you go.
Right.
Because people can be your home. I think that's really important too. But yeah, I always think like, if a band goes on tour, they should go with other bands because it just makes it so much fun.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, anytime we're talking to a band and they're like, yeah, I want to go tour, I'm like, if you guys need another band, like maybe we'll come just so we can experience what it's like, and then I'll quit the band afterwards because I'll be sick of it.
Yeah, don't do that.
No. But yeah, that's incredible. So besides the album, there's a question I always ask people on the show, and it's kind of a tough one, but I think either you could answer it as a group or individually, no matter how you feel, or maybe you all have the same answer. But if there's any artist or band, past or present, that you would open for, it would be like the one you choose, to open for. Who do you think it would be? Like the best show ever for Circus Trees.
God.
Julian Baker. That's me individually, I think. They're
It's-
gonna say a band, I'm pretty sure.
For me, it's hard to pick just one.
Yeah.
It was kind of a dream come true to think about opening for Caspian. I've literally been listening to them like so long. We kind of opened for Oh Brother at Post Fest in
Soft opening.
Indianapolis. So that was dope.
That was amazing.
Foxing would be cool.
I would really like to open for Foxing.
Yeah,
I've listened to
Foxing,
them
yes.
for so long. They're super, super cool band. Literally every album they play keeps changing. Like their music keeps growing and changing. And I think they're honestly one of my favorite bands. But definitely like Julian Baker, Foxing, or Caspian would be a dream come true.
Basically just all of them.
Yeah.
I can't
So
think
one bill with all those artists.
Yeah.
basically,
You guys
yeah.
have it. Yeah.
That's cool.
I've heard the name Caspian so often since
Yes.
I've been in high school. Even I graduated in 2005, and I used to hear. A friend of mine was like, he used to go to every single Caspian show. So that's really cool. Now because I remember at one point, maybe I'm wrong, but were they at one point broken up and now they're back together, or am I wrong about that?
I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Okay. Okay. But yeah, I've heard them a lot, so that would really be cool because they have a really cool sound as well. I feel like they started a scene. I could be wrong about that too. I could be wrong about a lot of things. Everything I'm saying is wrong. Everything I'm saying is wrong.
They're just like,
but yeah.
okay.
Yeah, just keep nodding at whatever I say.
No, just keep nodding. Keep nodding.
I'll wait, boys.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm super excited to hear it's funny you mentioned 6 songs on the EP or album. That could literally be an EP or an album. Like that's so on the borderline. Because I love short tracked albums, but they're still long. Like I like some albums that are 7 songs, but it's still like 40 minutes because that's a full length album. I always go by the length time.
Yeah.
Even bands like from the 70s, like Pink Floyd, they used to have albums that were 5 songs, but 3 of them were like 12 minutes. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see what they're doing.
Like one of them's 20 minutes, and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Do I have the patience for this? Which a lot of people nowadays don't have the attention span to listen to albums or songs, and and if I could give them an answer like, oh, I can't listen to a full song, I'd be like, listen to Floating Still because you will change your mind about length of songs. Because it takes you on a journey. It really does.
Definitely.
So, but yeah, I'm really excited about the album. Do you guys have a name for it yet or anything?
It's
have names
not
for the
decided. We're in the making of a name. We have a couple ideas, but we haven't made a firm decision on it yet, so we won't say anything about it.
It's very secretive. I get
Keep
it.
it classified.
Yes.
I like that.
That's cool.
Well, so you guys, I think you guys might have already mentioned this, but my video keeps kicking in and out. In terms of where you're recording it, did you guys already mention where you were gonna record it? Or
No, we're gonna record it with the person we've been recording with our last EP and Floating Still, Jay Moss.
Right.
Getaway Records. I think that's it.
Yep.
He's the best. We love him so
Awesome.
much. I could not see us recording with someone else at the moment.
Wow.
So.
Mhm.
Where is the
excellent.
studio?
It's
Haverhill.
in Haverhill.
Oh, sweet.
It's like a home studio. It's in his basement, but it's like super decked out.
Yeah, it doesn't matter where it is as long as the sound's incredible. Who cares where it's at?
And if it's cozy, that's important too.
That's important too. Environment, the studio environment is very important.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Gotta have candles, and you gotta have oriental phones on the wall.
Steve's really specific when we record. He's like, it has to be an oriental wall.
There has to be carpet on the wall. I don't know
There has to
why.
be 46 candles placed around me.
Yes, very ritualistic the way I record. It's very weird.
Yeah, I like anything like home recordings, basement. Our guitar player John, his studio is in the attic. That's where we record, in his attic. So
That's cool.
it saves money at least when you do it in house. But I mean, at the same time, you just want it to sound good. That's the most important thing, is just making it sound as good as possible.
If you can have someone else do it, do it.
Does he? So
He's focused on the playing.
this gentleman you record with, he does he mix it and master it as well, or does he like have a little team or anything like that, or is it all him?
He does for us. He's mixed and mastered. He mixed and mastered our EP. For Floating Still, he mixed our song, but it was mastered by Mike Collation. And
I feel like I've heard that name before.
He's super cool.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Wicked awesome.
Yeah.
Super good master on that one.
Oh yeah.
But this time he'll definitely be J Moss will be mastering our album, I believe.
Quick question in regards to mastering, because like I said before, we're super into vinyl, and I've been doing some research recently, and they say this, like, when you're doing the mastering process, if you plan to do a vinyl release, they say the vinyl release has to be mastered separately than the digital release. I'm not sure if you were aware of that, but
Yeah,
I wasn't.
yeah, something to consider if you plan on doing vinyl, just maybe like, hey, if we're going to do a separate master just for vinyl, because it is a different medium to listen to sound on, and it affords you different, I forget exactly, but there's different like frequency floors that are different on vinyl versus digital. I'm terrible at the specifics on it, but I know there is
Clearly.
Yes, clearly. But yeah, I don't know if you guys ever even heard of that, but I've just learned about that recently with the mastering process, like different for vinyl and then different for digital. But some people will do both the same, and it's not I feel kind of defrauded in a way, because if I have records that weren't mastered for the record, I feel it's like fraud.
Yeah.
You don't even listen to the records. You leave them shrink wrap like I do.
That's okay. I'll leave them in the shrink wrap, and I won't open them as long as they were mastered for the shrink wrap. I'm fine with that.
Doesn't matter.
Fine with that.
All right.
Anyway.
Yeah, we have vinyl for Sakura. We got a bunch of vinyl for Sakura, and we're selling it on Bandcamp, I believe.
Cool.
But yeah, Jay definitely did 2 different masters for.
Oh, sweet.
The
Okay,
vinyl,
that's
and,
awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah.
He knows
Well,
what
I
he's
will be
doing.
buying copy for sure.
I was gonna say, now that I know where to buy it, I'm definitely gonna go to Bandcamp.
Yeah, definitely.
But one thing I wanted to ask was 5x2 records. What that means to you? When I think of 5x2, it was one of the first. When we started as a band, we were just doing our thing. I didn't think of the business side of things as much. And when I did, and I started looking for things, I came across your father and 5x2 Records. And there's a real big sense of community with 5x2 Records. It feels like, and no pun intended, because you guys are a family, but it felt like bigger than that. It felt like a real music family. Outside of you guys as well, there's other bands that contribute. I think it's the coolest thing. And so I just want to know what you guys, like, what it means to you, what you guys are up to. Like, is there any new things? What are you branching off to? Because I know there's a lot that you guys do.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the biggest things in 5x2 is 5x2 is family. That's what we always say. We've met so many wonderful people through 5x2 Records and through playing with so many people. And we definitely consider so many bands and so many other people family. I think the biggest thing that they're working on right now is just Post New England, which is kind of a branch off of Post Fest in Indianapolis.
Cool.
And it's a festival that'll probably be running every year.
That's awesome.
And yeah, we're just putting a lot of work into that.
That's
We're
excellent.
also doing pre-production. Yeah, I'm just checking. We're doing pre-production for bands who want to get a sense of what their music is going to sound like recorded before they actually go and spend tons of money recording it, basically.
Right.
So,
Okay.
We have our brothers Owen and Aaron, and some of us work with them too. And we basically take in a band and we record their album or their songs, whatever they want, and we basically release it to them, and they can use it, they can listen to it, and kind of take notes so that when they go into the real studio and we like say they give them to J Moss, they'll be much more prepared and they know what they want.
That's good. That's like the right way to do it.
Yeah.
Streamline
it. And you know what?
Efficiency.
I know your dad is sitting nearby. I can feel his presence. And I I want to thank him because he did book us a couple of times on the further on the West Coast, like, well, not West Coast. That sounds really weird.
California,
Western part of Mass. For me anyway. I live in the North Shore, so that's what I'm always used to. But we went to Framingham, and then we did the Raven in Worcester, and I think that was my first or second time being in Worcester, and it was just it was different for me. So thank you very much for that. That was really fun, and we appreciate it. And
we're welcome.
I love what you do. I love your attitude towards music, and I literally every time you post anything, I read it a couple of times, and I appreciate it every time because it's very, very honest. And I feel like in this day and age with music and any business, any type of thing, some things are just not honest anymore.
Yeah.
And you're very honest, and that means a lot to me specifically. So thank you for being that way.
For real.
Yeah, definitely the sole intent of just forging this whole 5x2 and the 5x2 family was literally just giving everybody a place to play. It doesn't matter if you're 5, it doesn't matter if you're 50. If you want to play music, we got you, he'll have a venue for you. He'll treat you exactly like he treats his 5, 6 children, he definitely created with just like his whole heart. He's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I think a lot of bands in the future are going to look back and say, there was a time when I didn't know if I could even get on stage, and 5x2, they gave me my shot. They had faith in me enough to do this, and now I'm doing something else. And if it wasn't for 5x2, and I think that's going to go a long way with a lot of bands, because I think a lot of people, even me, I've only done a couple of things, but I really appreciated just having those opportunities and everything. So I'm a big fan. 5x2.
Well, that's kind of what we do. That's why this this podcast is kind of finding its voice. That's kind of like what you guys are doing. We want to kind of do something similar in terms of this digital medium that we're talking through right now. It's just a way we want to kind of bring the community together, because like we always talk about on the show how artists kind of tend to be maybe a little bit isolated, and it's kind of like they get caught up in the competitive edge of it when music isn't obviously you want to get your music out there and get listeners, and that's all fine, but the core of it, the soul of it, has always been, to me, it's been about community. And the more collaboration, the more artists collaborate and get together and even like write together. I think that's just like, it's you look at how jazz formed when back early 1900s. It's a culmination of many different artists coming together, and even in like New Orleans way back in the day, that's like you get this melting pot of different artists, and from that you get new styles, and it's almost like a mini renaissance. So that's kind of like our crazy vision that we want to like
and even like it's to purposely cut you off, Steve. I feel like
Thank you.
What this really is for me too is that even we don't know who's going to watch these. We don't know if it's going to even take off, but what I think is kind of cool is that, like, if we have somebody on here and 5 of my friends who don't know that band just happen to see my post and check out the band, there's 5 new people who could be like, oh, this band is really cool. I'm glad that Derek posted this or whatever. So we're trying to connect people, and we're trying to make social media actually matter, because I know Facebook was meant to be, when it was started, like to connect college buddies who forgot about each other, and it became something that's about, now it's a lot of it's negative. A lot of it's like negative stuff on Facebook. But we're like, you know what? We're quarantined, and maybe we can bring people together and start talking and have a really cool music chat with people. So that's what this is sort of is. And if it takes off, it's cool. If not, then we've had fun. So
yeah,
I mean, it's super cool what you're doing.
Yeah, we really appreciate you guys coming on. It's always fun to talk to you guys. Correct me if I'm wrong. I had this discussion earlier with Derek. Didn't we play a show together at the Raven in Worcester?
I just said that. Do you even listen to me when I talk?
No, you said they played.
I said we played the Raven. I said it was cool to be in Worcester.
As in we, but not we.
Definitely played together.
I'm not
definitely
sure.
No. This is a stark contrast from like yesterday when I had this question. It's like, we never played with them at the Raven. I swear to God.
I don't think we played with them. I don't think Circus Trees was on the bill at the Raven. I think
we were probably there.
Yeah, you were there, and I think we were booked through 5x2 Records for that show. But we played with Circus Trees in Framingham.
So you're saying
that makes sense, Steve? Does that make sense?
Circus Trees didn't play with us in the Raven at the Raven.
I don't remember.
I do not believe so.
I remember giving Juliana a high five at the Raven, like that.
Well,
So what was I giving her a high five for? Just like
Lights. She was doing lights.
Oh,
I don't
really?
know.
I
I'm
doubt
not
it.
sure.
All right. Well,
I think your brother was doing sound. I think.
Yeah.
I almost.
He does
I'm
sound.
pretty sure that was the thing.
okay. All right.
But
That makes more
'cause
sense.
we played with 3-piece meal, Steve. That they were there.
Yeah.
I know.
And
I
remember
know.
that.
now,
Mhm.
yeah, and
Yeah.
now we have their drummer. So now their drummer is ours.
Yeah.
I remember that.
yeah. Now he plays for us.
That's super cool.
Yeah, we stole their drummer.
It's funny.
Good
We
for
actually we steal a lot of musicians. We stole John from his band, and now we kind of
Yep.
stole Akira.
As
from
soon
that
as a
band.
band breaks up, we vulture in and take a member. I just thought of that just now.
Wow, you are
Write that one
terrible.
down.
Jeez,
That's
that's
like probably the biggest moment of my week is me saying that.
wow. We're
Pretty
just
sad.
vultures.
Pretty sad.
We're vultures. We'll be recruiting Circus Trees pretty soon. We'll bring you guys in.
Yikes.
You'll be part of the Vultures umbrella. We're gonna do a
Yeah,
merger, a company merger
Oh,
here.
yeah.
We're gonna
We're-
create
we're-
a
We're
cartel.
gonna merge our companies, yeah.
but
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this with us. Super excited to have you guys here talking. I don't want to keep you all night because we could just talk about nonsense all day. That's what we do. Steve and I talk after this podcast. Steve and I will talk on the phone for 3 hours about some album because we're insane. So, but thank you for everything you do. Thank you for your music. I can't wait to hear it. I'm going to buy it, and
Thank
if you sign it as well, I will
Yes.
cry. I'll cry when I receive it.
I will also be enjoyed if I receive it. I won't probably cry, but I'll be appreciative.
I'm way more emotional than Steve is.
Gotcha.
But yes, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you for having us.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thanks, and
All right,
we'll talk to you guys
safe,
again.
stay healthy.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll do it again too. We have in next
Definitely.
maybe down the line we'll have you on for maybe the album release. We'll have you back on to promote the
Yeah.
album.
Of course.
Yes, absolutely. That sounds awesome.
Do it.
Cool. All right, guys. Thank you again so much. We'll talk to you
Thank
soon.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. Take care.
Hey, you too.
See ya.
Thanks.
You want to leave? Are we leaving?
Are
What's
we leaving?
happening?
Do you leave? Do we leave? Who leaves? Who leaves?
Who's leaving?
No, you leave. You leave.
Bye.
Bye.